Sorry, I got delayed. It's a very, very happy moment for me today because we are going to meet Pritosh after a long time. After 2.5 years, we're going to meet Pritosh, and Pritosh is no ordinary man. The headline news for this webinar is three of us in one day. Three of us in one day, and the chance to meet Pritosh. You're going to be treated to 30 minutes of fun, love, joy, and you'll always be smiling. You can see Pritosh having a wonderful smile because that is who he is. 2024 passed out student, uh, presently working in Verizon, and a very, very proud lion. In fact, during Pritosh time only, a lot of the innovations that we characterize VIT Bhopal have happened. Draft resolution challenge. I think first we were discussing with Pritosh, Anamika, and others. If you look at the 100 days of coding challenge, so many innovations, immersion, first batch, so many things started with Pritosh. Not a single sad moment with Pritosh. It's always light, it's always happy, it's always everything has a story. And with Pritosh, life is full of stories. There is a story in immersion, there is a story in experiential learning, there is always a smile. Without further ado, let's go over to Pritosh. Pritosh, the stage is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure what you said is too much, and I don't come anywhere near to what you have said. But then, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on this side of the screen instead. I still remember being on that side of the screen. It's 8:30. I know some of you will be having your dinners. I used to watch webinars sometimes in the mess while having my dinner, so I know how it feels to be on the other side of the screen. But then, really glad to be here and to take you guys through on what I felt and what I went through. And the main thing I would focus on is the placement mindset that you should carry forward and how it can help you. So let me start sharing my screen.
It is visible now.
Okay.
It is visible now. Everything is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Yes. Okay, perfect. So yeah, like Sir said, I'm Pritosh. I work as an engineer on software development at Verizon, or you can just call it as SD1 at Verizon. I'm from the 2024 pass out batch. I've been working at Verizon for the past 1.5 years almost, and I also did a 4-month internship with them. So without further ado, I'll just start off with a quick brain teaser. Uh, So the question goes like this: a man is on top of a 200-meter building. He needs to get down to the ground. He has a 150-meter rope, long enough for it's a 150-meter rope, and then it's strong enough to hold 10 times his weight. He also has a hammer. He has a knife, or to make it interesting, he has any other tool that you can imagine. Additionally, there's a platform at the 100-meter mark, and there are hooks at the top of the building as well as at the platform in case he wants to use them. How can he get down? Now, I'll give you guys like 2 minutes to just go through the question. If you want to take a screenshot, you can take the screenshot. I'll probably end up with the answer in the end. The reason why I started off with this riddle was mainly because this riddle was asked to me during my Verizon interview. I fumbled, but then it was something that was different that happened during my interview because you didn't really get a puzzle question that came out of nowhere. So it's just something that tricks your mind and makes your mind run in a way that you were not expecting it to run during an interview. Hence why I wanted to share it with you guys as well, so you can just have a run at it. I'll come up with the answer in the end, so don't worry in case you're not able to find an answer right now. So moving forward, what can you do right now in your entire preparation? So first would be audit your readiness, fine tune your resume, beautify your LinkedIn, beautify your GitHub. All of this is very generic, and they would already have been vetted by Sir in any of the profile reviews or the immersion rounds that he would have done. But then you need to make sure that it is as beautiful as possible, but then it's as aesthetically pleasing as well as there's no grammatical errors or anything of that sort, so that you are able to put your best foot forward to the interviewer as well as any recruiter that is coming to hire you, because that's what you want. You want to show your best side. You want to show how exactly it is that you are in your best self, in your best version of yourself. The second would be list your gaps. Figure out right now what it is that you have a major gap in, be it DSA, be it your projects, be it your communication, be it your aptitude, and then accordingly make a plan to ensure that you're able to fill those gaps and you're able to uh, improve them as much as you can. Let's say if you have multiple, let's say DSA as well as projects, then there are two ways to go about it. Either do a bit of both each day, wherein you assign some time for DSA and some time for projects, or you do it on alternate days, or say DSA on the weekdays and projects on the weekends. Figure out what works for you. What worked for me might not work for you, but then go forward. You figure out what it is that works for you, what doesn't work for you. I was a night person, I was a night owl. I used to stay up till 2, 3, maybe even like 4, and then used to study. If you're a morning person, wake up early in the morning and do the same. So figure out what works for you and then make a plan on that accordingly. So, which brings me back to my second point, a third point, which is build a simple daily to-do list. So this is a daily to-do list that you do no matter what, you're doing it every single day. So these are the things that you force yourself that you will do every day no matter what, be it a POTD or a daily revision of key concepts or anything really that you think you should be doing every day. So for me, I had this, I used to use Microsoft To Do, the app on my phone. So it had this distinct relieving sound that played once you finish the task, and it gave me a brief sense of hope and joy every time that I clicked that, okay, yeah, I have done something today, I've been productive today. So maybe you can take up on that, or if you find anything else which works for you, but then make sure you're doing something daily so that you improve whatever it is that you want to improve every single day. And the last is find a support circle. So now this depends, but then I would say try to be in a group that has a similar mindset into the entire placement journey as you. Sometimes the fact that your friend finished something and you didn't can drive you to finish that as well. I was fortunate enough to be around a group of people who had the same similar mindset as me, who were interested in the same topics as me, who were lacking in the same topics as me as well. So we were each other's buddies in the sense that we were able to help each other improve the way that we wanted to, and ensure that both of us or all of us were together growing in the entire process. So make sure you're able to find a good support circle so that you can make sure all of you are growing together, and then they'll also be able to drive you to learn and do any work that you want to do every day. So I'll just go to the ground over here. So this is the base of anything and everything that you would have done. I'm sure you would have heard about this, but then I'll just reiterate. Sharpen your DSA foundations. Let's say be it your arrays, your linked list, your recursion, etc. Make sure you're good with it. You learn the theory concepts well, and then you move on to practicing it. Be it a lead code, POTD, maintain a streak. It's always good to maintain a streak because you are doing something or the other every day instead of let's say missing just one day. Start mock interviews and aptitude prep. Mock interviews will be the best source that you'll ever have, because it will give you the real life scenario of how it will be in an actual interview, and it will help you understand how you have to answer, how you have to behave when it actually comes to the day when you actually have an interview. And then make a fixed daily routine and stick to it. So like I said, make a daily list, make sure you're sticking to it, make sure you're doing whatever it is that you want to do, and then ensure that you're able to complete whatever you're completing. Now, one thing I would say in the daily to-do list is that me, you, or anybody, we're not perfect. We'll end up with a to-do list wherein, let's say you added like let's say 10 items, and then you end up doing 8 items only. That's fine. It doesn't really matter that if you're putting 10 items, you're doing the entire 10 items in a day. That is not the point of it. The point is that you have 10 items there, and you make sure you at least are doing, let's say, 80% or 70% of it. You not doing anything at all is what is going to cost you and what is going to be a big problem in your entire journey, because consistency is the only way that you can go forward and make sure that you're performing well. And then comes the execution and revisions. So it's completely likely and completely possible. It's happened with me as well, that because the journey is so long and it takes so many months, you end up with mental fatigue and inconsistency, and then you have a difficulty keeping up with the mock test, the interview questions, and whatnot. And then when you start seeing that companies are coming in and then you don't get shortlisted, let's say, or you don't get a good outcome in your OA, then you start feeling that, okay, is it something that's there with me, or is it something that I have to improve on? So you make sure that at that particular point you just keep on going with your consistency and making sure that whatever it is that you're doing, you just follow it to the T. Because ultimately, if you are diligent, if you are disciplined enough, it will you will be able to reap the rewards in the end. It's not like you are not going to end up reaping the rewards. Be it, let's say, resume anxiety, you'll be questioning, is it good enough? Is there a mistake there? Take the opportunity, meet sir. He'll be more than happy to review your resume and tell you where you have gone wrong, where you've not gone wrong. I have 100 different versions of my resume still in my Google Drive, which keeps popping up saying that I have too much storage space over there. So there'll be a lot of opportunities for you to show it to sir, and then he'll be able to review it for you. You'll have multiple different types of reviews, and that'll help you figure out, if there are any gaps, you can help fill those. The DSA problems, obviously you would have started with easy and then moved on to medium, and then accordingly you keep doing the medium and the hard problems so that you are able to get your concepts clear and you're able to solve the questions, so that in case in the interview you're asked something so random, you're still able to get it. The mock interviews and the feedback loops are the core in understanding how exactly it is that you are performing and how exactly it is that you will end up performing. Mock interviews will help you, guide you, and tell you what it is that, let's say, you're saying or doing something wrong, and what it is that you are doing good at, so that you can be confident enough that I am good in that. There have been situations in a mock interview wherein so I had a mock interview when I was asked a question, because I had put in my resume that I was good with MS Excel as well as Tableau. So I was asked a question where what's the maximum number of rows in MS Excel and what's the maximum number of rows that you can get in Tableau, which was something completely new to me, and I never thought that that would come up as a question. And it was something that opened up a completely new way of thinking, because I was like, okay, I've put something on my resume and it's something relevant to what I've done, then I should have known the answer to that, but I did not. So the mock interview helped me figure out and understand the kind of questions that I should be preparing for. And brush up your OOPS concepts, your DBMS, CN, OS. The core concepts was something that I did not know was so important until I did the mock interviews, because it was in the mock interviews they started asking me questions and I was like, okay, I do not know the answer to that, because last time I learned about them was back in second year, early third year, and I forgot about all of that. So make sure you're brushing up on your core concepts, making sure that you're good with them and you can answer any of the questions that follow. Moving on is the interview time and the exam mode, when you're actually having the interview or you have the OA or the exam. So as far as what you are concerned, your first thing in your mind is continuing what you have done so far, no matter what. And if you're not shortlisted, do not panic. There are a lot of drives that are gonna come. There's one advantage that you have in VIT is the fact that the number of companies and the ever-ending drive that happens is ever-ending actually. So you get an opportunity, you keep getting opportunities. So make sure you're just consistent with yourself and you don't burn out from the daily grind. Sometimes if you feel like you've done it a lot and then you don't want to, let's say, do it for one day, it's fine. Take a day's break, take max to max 2 days breaks, but then don't take like an entire week break or an entire 2 week break and be like, okay, that's my break because I've done so long. Take a small break, celebrate the small victories, and then keep going on. So which comes to the next one, which is the huge thing that a lot of you might face or already would have faced, is how to manage your disappointment if not selected. I would say take a step back, contemplate, and energize yourself. So this is where, like Sir said here, I might say a lot of stories. So this is where I'll tell you the story. So I was selected till the interview round for Accenture. So Accenture came to campus and they had multiple rounds. They had an OA, then they had uh, and two more rounds I believe before the last interview round. And according to me, all the rounds went well. I was confident to an extent that I would be able to crack the offer. And in the end, when the results came out, it was they. I believe they hired around 30 people from Bhopal alone, and my name was obviously not in one of them. And that was the biggest setback that I've had from the entire process because this was the only company up until then that I had gone to the end, till the interview round, and I had been confident enough that I was able to convert it because I had done good in the interview. So the ideal thing that you think that a person would go through is that just stop everything and then contemplate life. What have I done? Why is it happening to me? I did that. You give yourself. I would say what I did was I gave myself 3 days. For 3 days, I enjoyed everything and anything. I was having food from UB every day. I somehow managed to get the cheesesteak. And I was sleeping like crazy. I did not have a worry in the world of what was happening around me. For 3 days, I gave myself that time to process of what had happened, and then on the fourth day, I was back at it again. I made sure the entire daily prep that I was having, I started with that again. The entire consistency that I was having, I started with that again. It it is not the end. More drives, like I said, are always coming. And your time will come. You just have to focus on what you do, and accordingly, you'll get rewarded for it in the end. I would strongly say avoid isolation. Talk to friends, talk to your mentors, talk to your seniors, talk to roam around. We have a big campus, so just roam around, enjoy the campus. I still remember when the Accenture results came out. The first place that I went was to Sir's cabin. And I was talking to him, and he's asking me how I am, and I was like, so just give me 3 days. For 3 days, I'll not do anything. I'll just make sure that I'm enjoying what I want to watch, a bunch of movies that I like, and then the fourth day onwards, I'll be back to where I was and start off. So that's how I would say manage a disappointment. Always take time. I'll never say do not just. It's impossible for you to just just carry forward and be like, oh, that happened. Okay, that's fine, and then you can just carry forward. That's not going to happen. You are going to feel bad about it. Allow yourself to feel bad about it. It's not that you are not allowed to feel bad about it. Allow yourself time to feel bad about it so that you can process what's happened, and then once you've processed it, you can move ahead, move forward into making sure you're good with what you do. Which comes to the projects. So, should you do projects right now? Yes, if you lack any substantial project or if you want to stand out with your right skills. No, if you have already 2, 3 solid projects. If you already have 2, 3 solid projects, you have a resume that's already full. You do not exactly need another project to fill in your resume because probably you won't even have space in your resume to fill one. And know as well if you're overwhelmed with coding, aptitude, or code, but then that is keeping in mind the fact that you have at least one good project. Now, with good project, I don't exactly mean like a huge project wherein you've done end to end, all of everything of the system end to end. A small focused project can be equally good as a big project that is done by, let's say, someone who's a really good coder. And make sure that your project is complete. A big incomplete one is obviously not going to be any comparison to, let's say, a small focus project. So here is where I come with another story. So I had 2 projects, and one thing that Sir had always told was that irrespective of what you have as a project, you have a personal story with your project, because uh, the story is what ties your project to you. It does not matter if, let's say, your project is basic, or if you think that your project is not very hi-fi or very showboaty. but make sure that there is a personal connection that you build with your project. So the project that I had made called Toy Store was very simple in the sense that since I had a data analyst profile that I want to cultivate, it was a dashboard which created the entire array of toys that was available on the Amazon India website. And then it used to help you rank the toys on the basis of the number of reviews, the kind of reviews that it was getting, and all of that, which was not exactly available on the Amazon app or the Amazon website in in uh, in actuality, because that's how their filters were working. So this was something that I found out was a problem because I recently became an uncle. So I wanted to give my nephew a toy. So I wanted to get him a toy, but then I couldn't on Amazon. And that was my entire backstory of why I started the project, why I did the project. And so, like sir had said, since I cracked two offers in one day, the second offer was KPMG. So in my KPMG interview, I was grilled on the fact that why have you done this project? What is the entire reason of you doing this project? And then I had this entire story of why I did the project, how it came into ideation, why it is that it came into ideation, and how it got converted into the actual project. So even though the project as such to me was not that big and complex, it was a relatively small one. But then since I had like a good enough argument on why I reached there, why I wanted to do that project, it was able to. They were convinced enough to see that okay, it's not something that is just done on the fly. There is a reason behind it, and there's a reason behind why he has done it and why he's chosen to do it. So make sure you have like a unique story, hopefully, with which links to you, so that you are able to relate better to that project, and then so the interviewer can also better relate to you with respect to your project. So that's about projects, and then for coding. So like I said, start with easy, medium, and then hard. Then make sure you're not rushing. You did too easy and then you're directly going into the medium and the hards. It's not going to work out. Make sure you're doing comfortably a really good chunk of easy as well as medium and then hard. And make sure you don't exactly rush the entire process. It takes time. Initially, the foundation, like they say in any building, it takes time for the foundation to build up. Once that is done, you can obviously go forward. And then master the top patterns, be it the sliding window, DP, regression, trees, graphs. And then, so this one thing that helped me a lot was tracking my mistakes. So track your mistakes where you're going wrong so that you don't exactly make those mistakes again. So you're able to revise those same mistakes and then making sure that you're not making those mistakes again. And prioritize quality over quantity. I'm not going to elaborate on this. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have come and told you about, let's say, Striver's SD sheet or any other SD sheet that is there. So make sure you're picking up good questions that are heavy with the theoretical concept that they have, so that you're able to understand properly how exactly it is that you have to solve those questions and how exactly it is that you have to go forward in putting your mind into solving those questions. Interview prep, I would say start now. Mock interviews, mock interviews, mock interviews. There's no shortcut there. You have three different types of interviews possibly that you could face with, or three different type of questions that could be asked in your interview. Behavioral, technical, HR. So I would say abuse as many mock interviews opportunities as you can. Be it the vendor mocks, be it the alumni mocks. As they always say, practice makes perfect. It is completely possible that in an entire mock interview, you might not gain any extra knowledge. But what it does is that it gives that familiar feeling. So when you do an actual interview, then you're much more calm and composed than you would have been since you have the practice of taking mock interviews. It's just similar to like saying, you're playing a game, and then the fact that you played it so often, you don't exactly feel such a high pressure when you actually have like a championship match or something like that. You would obviously have some pressure, but then the amount of pressure that you would have would be considerably less had you not practiced. In terms of questions, I would say since we live in the AI world, abuse that as well. Use it not only to understand your coding solutions. I'm sure you've already been doing that, but then make it your own personal virtual interviewer. Give it topics, ask it to act as an interviewer, and ask it to ask you questions. And then answer it, and then ask it for review as well on how you did those questions, how were your answers, how was your vocabulary, how was your communication, how were you able to articulate what it is that you were doing. And since you have that one free big AI tool that's there available, so might as well use it to the best of your ability so that you can improve on your skills. So, like I said, for behavioral, prepare stories. Let's say for leadership, you've been in part of clubs, you've done it something in school, also that's fine. Preferably something in college, but then if you've done something in school, that's fine. So, be it leadership, conflict, failure, teamwork, you would have had some relation whatsoever. Let's say be it in group projects in class, or let's say clubs, societies that we have in college. Make sure you have some story wherein you have shown these attributes and skills so that the interviewer can better understand the kind of person that you are and the kind of experience that you've had with such responsibilities in the past. Technical, like I said, revise your DBMS, OS, OOPS concepts, and focus on clarity. It's easy for you since it's a huge plethora of things that you know everything, but then when asked to say how it is or what it is, you're not able to clearly say it out. So make sure you're clear in your articulation on how to explain it to the interviewer as well. And then in the HR rounds, this is in the end, but then this is also important wherein they'll obviously end up asking why you want to join this company or tell your strengths and weaknesses. So obviously, make sure in an interview before you go into an interview you research about the company as well, and you find let's say 3-4 good points that is unique to the company, which is why that you want to join the company, so that you're able to better understand the kind of work culture that they have. And accordingly, the HR would be able to understand that you have put in the effort of going into the company website, researching about them, and so on. Which comes to my final thoughts. Like I said, your mindset is your superpower. One thing that I would say is do not be picky. It's pretty easy for people to think that, oh, it's not a super ring offer, oh, it's not a 20 LP offer, it's not a 30 LP offer, and hence you are picky about it. The way that the market is right now, the way that the market is everywhere right now, you are not exactly sure what will happen. I would always say a job is much more important. A job which will give you experience is much more important than no experience at all. So do not be picky. Choose everything and anything that you're getting, and then give it your 100%. And accordingly, what you deserve, what you have worked for, what you get as your reward for all the hard work that you have done, you will ultimately end up getting. And everybody's journey is different. My journey was different to the friend that I had in my circle. Your journey was going to be completely different to what my journey was. So just trust yours. You will have a completely different journey. Just trust yours. It's always going to be that you end up with completely different journey. Stay consistent, not perfect, like I said. It's probably, even though I am a perfectionist, it's going to be impossible for any of us to be perfect. But then staying consistent is something that can be done and should be done. So make sure you're consistent with yourself, and you're able to cultivate that daily to-do list to do all the stuff that you need to do every day. Celebrate your small wins. Let's say solve a hard problem, have a nice tea at UB, got a good feedback in mock interview or from sir, have a nice tea or something that's your favorite from Mayuri or UB, and then celebrate it. So small wins are the small joys that you get in the entire placement process. I know it's a very gloomy process, but then if you don't exactly celebrate the small wins, you won't exactly be able to celebrate the big wins properly as well. And don't fear rejection. I know it's kind of ironic coming from me, even though I went into an entire ditch for 3 days after Accenture, but then use it as well as redirection to improve yourself and understand what might have gone wrong, and then accordingly repath yourself into the correct way. And you're not late. You're learning, you're leveling up. So don't ever think that, oh, it's too far along and there's nothing exactly that I can do. Keep doing. I was initially under the impression that I was late, but then eventually I found out that even if I'm late, better late than never. Start. So make sure you're starting, make sure you're having the consistency in keeping the entire journey as much as possible. And the last but the least is that all it takes is one day. So like Sir said, I had a KPMG offer in the afternoon, and I was celebrating in UB with the fact that, oh yeah, I'm done with placements, everything is done. I had a dream offer from KPMG, and I'm super happy and everything. And then I get a call from the placement cell saying you have another interview with Verizon right now, and I'm having like a 100-meter dash from UB all the way to the lab complex to attend the interview. And then, as fate had it, by the evening I had the offer from Verizon as well, and then out of nowhere, you asked me yesterday, and I have no offers in hand, and a day later I have two offers in my hand, and you tell me that like 2 days down the line, if 2 days before, if that's happening, and I would never have believed you. So all it takes is one day. Just chase your one day. And yeah, before I end up, I'm going to go to the answer to the riddle. So the nerdy answer, the top marks answer, the topper answer would be that since let's say it's a 150-meter long rope, right? You cut it at the 50-meter mark. So you have one rope which is 50 meters, you have one rope which is 100 meters. In the end of the 50-meter rope, you tie it in a way that you're able to do a bit of a loop. So you have a loop, and then this is the rope, and then you can pass the 100-meter rope through this, so it becomes a U. So since it's 100, the U will be 50. So and then this 50-meter rope, you'll have it on the top of the tower. So the 50, this 50, and then the other 50. And then you're able to land at the platform. And then since the other rope is only in the loop, you can just pull it down. And then you pull it down, and then you have another 100-meter. You tie it on the platform, and then you just get down. Which is the nerdy answer, which is the okay, let's say the correct answer if you want to. But then what exactly the riddle is for is not to check if you can answer a question or if you can rightly answer a question. The reason for the riddle is to check how you think outside the box. So the outside the box answer, one of the outside the box answers could be that I said that the rope is strong enough to handle 10 times its weight, the man's weight. So I never said how thick the rope was. So instead of cutting the rope like this, you could have cut the rope like this. Which means that the 150-meter long rope, if you cut it in on the basis of the entire length of the rope, like making it into half, you're now left with 300 meters of rope. And since it's strong enough, it can essentially hold you. So you have 150 meter, you use it however you want, and you can get down. And then I'm pretty sure you would have some other crazy outwardly ideas of, let's say, since it said any other tool you can imagine, he probably got a jetpack or something like that and got down. So there's no one right answer. It's just there to test how exactly are you thinking and how exactly are you processing something that comes out of nowhere. So yeah, that's the answer to the question. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. Work hard, success is something that I've always learned from Sir, and I've used, and I've actually been able to incorporate that in my life throughout, and being successful in using it and being achieving it. So work hard, success is yours. And my question to like end it off to you would be: what's the one thing that you do starting today? What's the one thing that you've been inspired to start today to ensure that you can continue your journey? Yeah, thank you. That's it, sir.
Thank you, Pritosh. I anybody who's been with Pritosh, spent any time with Pritosh, will be spellbound with Pritosh. And I was telling Anirban sir is watching and laughing, and all the faculty who have worked with Pritosh will always be watching and laughing. And Pritosh is always full of life and fun. And so let's go to the questions now.
Uh,
Questions. Vishal Kumar's question. I started DSA, but left it due to exam. How should I be consistent in DSA and how to make it work?
So, like I said, maintaining a streak. I don't know if you can find my GitHub, but then you'll see in my GitHub that I had an entire streak of I think 180 days or something, and I broke it on the day that I got placed. So make sure you're maintaining a streak of at least doing one question a day, so that you have that mental clarity that I did not waste a day, I at least did something, and then you can move forward. Or you can take, I think Lead Code gives a POTD every day, so make sure you're doing the POTD. Also, just force yourself. You want a placement, you want something that's good. You need to be happy enough and you need to be hardworking enough and disciplined enough to put the work in. So make sure you're putting the work in to do that particular DSA question every single day or that DSA concept, let's say wherever you're learning it from, every single day. Yeah.
Um, this is from a final year. She purposefully didn't type her name in the question and answer box, so I'm not asking her name. Bhaiya, I have done everything that you have told, but I have not been shortlisted for any company till now to due to my CGPA. Uh, how do I stay motivated? What do I trust? What should I trust now? I will lost all hope now.
Okay. That's a hard question, but then I'll say uh, there will be opportunities, I believe. The first thing I would say is go talk to Sir. I'm sure Sir is not going to eat your brain. He's going to be very calm and gentle with you. That's how he was with me. I know at times he can come out as scary, but then he's always had a big heart and open ears to whatever it is that you have as a concern. On top of that, let's say if it is your CGPA, that's the main problem. I also had that. I also had that issue initially. I would say you always have the opportunity as well to try off campus as well. So have that avenue open just to the side as well, just in case that works out. Because I've had like a lot of people who got in through that. And if you're being picky, don't be picky. Let's say if it's TCS Infosys and you're like, oh, it's TCS and another one, don't be picky. Just take whatever you get. But then keep working. I wouldn't say stop and just let everything go. Just keep going. I'm pretty sure whoever is there up there, be it God, the universe, whoever it is that you believe in, you will eventually get rewarded and you will eventually be happy in the end.
Uh, I know who has written this. You can always come and meet him. Don't worry. We will figure out a way to get things started. Uh, Next question is about projects and certifications. This is from a junior. So, are global certifications necessary for placement?
They are not necessary, but they can be an added advantage. I had an AWS cloud certificate, but then it was never asked in any of my interviews about about like any contents about it on what I did, where how good it was, what if I can explain about it. So it's a big gray area wherein you're not exactly sure if having one is a short advantage that you can get. But then it's not like you have one and then it's a disadvantage for you as such. As long as you know what the content is. But then I wouldn't say spend a lot of money into getting certifications, thinking you'll end up with an advantage, and in the end it doesn't work that way. So certifications can help. They can be an advantage, but then it's not like a huge breakthrough advantage that you get as opposed to somebody who does not have one.
Um, should I focus on? I don't have any internships offline. This is our third year student. I don't have any internships till now. I have not done any internships, remote or in person. Uh, Placement starts in 6 months. Should I chase the remote internship or internship, or should I focus on DSA and coding?
I also did not have an internship. We both in the same boat. I did not start my prep up until February because I thought that internships were very important. Like I said, for these certifications, internships are an advantage, but then not having one is not a humongous disadvantage, or it's not a disadvantage even. There'll be a lot of people that you have in your batch who don't have an internship, and then in the end, they will end up getting placed. So internships, let's say the remote internship that you were talking about, if it is valuable, if it is good, if you're learning something from it, and if you're able to create something out of it, then yes, go ahead. You probably might be getting paid about it as well. Go ahead, do it. But then if it's something that is not valuable, if it's not something anything or related to the field or the interest area that you have, then internship is not going to work out. You can just focus on a DSA, focus on your projects, because if you are able to make them very good, the lack of internship is never going to be a problem when it actually comes to your interviews and your OAs. So because the OAs, the first round is obviously going to be the OA, and the OA is going to test the DSA skills. At that point, they're never going to ask for your interview. The only time the internship will come into play is when you are in an interview and then they look at your resume and they ask you about your internship. So the internship is not that big of a deal if you don't have one right now. Just focus on your DSA and your projects and you should be good to go.
Uh, how to stay positive? It's nearly December, and I am not yet placed. I am attending a webinar. Uh, how to stay positive? Did you face a situation like this?
Uh, I did. That's what I would say. Have a good group of friends. Have a good group of mentors. Make sure my inner circle. I had a good group of friends. We used to have good banter. I used to talk to my parents. They were very supportive. So if you have supportive parents, talk to them, let them know how you're feeling, and then they'll be more than happy to listen to you and then console you in what's happening and what's not happening. And then obviously you have sir and the entire placement team. They'll be happy to listen to you cry, listen to you rant about anything and everything that you want. And I know it's tough. I know it's feels lonely at times. I know it feels like it's the end of the world and nothing might just happen. But then ultimately you just have to push through. You just have to mentally just force yourself through, hoping that it will happen in the end, because eventually if you put the work in, if you put the all the work in that you need to do, if you put the effort, the discipline and everything, eventually it will get rewarded and you will come out on top.
So that brings us to the end of this session, but it doesn't bring us to the end of this association. Um, I have a funny story. If you come to the lab complex and you go to my cabin or whatever was my cabin, first cabin, you will see a beautiful board, work hard, success is yours. That board was presented by Pritosh. So I still have this board along with me. I'll have it with me till my end, whenever it is, and that is Pritosh. He, um, nobody in placement will ever forget Pritosh, and based on sheer energy, because Pritosh, it was a big gang of people. Anamika, Mittal, I spoke to her today. They started a lot of good practices that are their immersion programs, for example. What went wrong immersion? A lot of things were started with Pritosh. It's a pleasure talking to you, Pritosh, and thank you for this wonderful session. The final day students actually needed this.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Pritosh.
Thank
Your
you so much
closing
for having me.
last word to our genius.
All the best. Work hard. Success is yours. I'm living proof.
Thank you, Pritosh.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
dear lives. See you again.
Thank you.
Good night.